Okay, so we're up to Yom Hey Tishrei, right? He had listed off quite a long list of why is it that the love is so hefker? Why is it, when he discussed for the regular people and for the Talmid Chachamim and all the tricks of the Yetzer Sahara to convince, and it said it all boils down the Maisa fact that there is no real collection of halachas for Lashon Hara and Mechilas in any given place, and therefore there's so much lack of knowledge. So he says, okay, therefore, by the way, I think that was the Chafetz Chaim's prescription for writing Sfarim. He only wrote Sfarim where there was a need. He didn't write Stam Chedushim on Baba Kama. Wherever he perceived a need for a certain sefer, he would write it. That's what he's saying here.
Like he saw a need for the klal, as
right.
opposed to writing haros on Bava Kama or
right. He says, therefore, I strengthen myself. Bezos Hashem Yisparach with the help of Hashem Achreinin Lo'adam Das who grants wisdom. V'kibatzi Kodine Lashon Hara Chidus El Sefer. I put them all together. L'kati Oisam Mikol HaMakonis Mufuzarm B'Ashas V'Poiskim. It's incredible that he can make that statement. He says, I gathered it from all the places that it's spread over in Shas and the Poiskim, Ubifrat, and specifically Rambam, Basmag, V'Shari Tshuva, Rabbeinu Yonazal. Shein Me'ir Lon Einayim B'Lochazu, that they gave us the basis. They were Meir Lano Einayim. V'gam L'kati Es Dinim Imash Motzasim Shuvas Ma'arik. He said, I also put together that, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of the Sefer Chafetz Chaim, after Hilchos Rechilas, he brings, one second, if I'm not mistaken, Tzirin, so he brings the Chavetz Yor, he brings the Chavetz Yor, and Shuvas from the Ma'arik. And as he quotes a bunch of Rishonim and Sfarim. Ushari Chuvas Hasher Ochin Leninza. If you like this, I say for the Shnei Chalakim, I divided the Sefer into two parts. One Hilchas Yisur Lashon Hara and Beis Hilchas Isurei Rechilas. Now he says on the bottom here, in a footnote, so the truth is that many of the halachas of Rechilas can be learned from Lashon Hara, Achamarti. But said the Chafetz Chaim like this: it's necessary to repeat each din specifically, even though if you learn Hilchas Lashon Hara, you got most of the Rechilas. Since there's such a stumbling block here, there's such a mikshol in this Avera, Chet HaLashon, Rahman al-San. You can't rely on the person learning Sefer Chafetz Chaim, that when he'll need a specific halacha l'maisa, yechapes, so say, well, I learned in Hilchos Lashon Hara this way. And obviously that applies here. You can't rely on that. Halavai, he would even try. Besides that, almost in every halacha, when it comes to Rechilas, there's something new there that wasn't applicable or in Hilchos Lashon Hara. Chazal already taught us in a similar case called Parsha Shenemar V'Nishnes. Anytime you find in the Torah a halacha that's being repeated, even though it's written already, the purpose of rewriting it is there is some halacha there that's new, that wasn't written previously. So he says, I'm following that. He says, it's very important to be very specific and speak everything out, and therefore he wrote a separate chelik called Hilchos Rechilas. Back on the top, give me the merit, I'll write a third chelik, which we started learning. that there I'll gather all the mamorim, all the statements that are mentioned in the Gemara and Midrash, Mizar, Kodesh, Minyan, Zeh, that talk about the idea, the severity of Lashon Hara and Rakis. Kim Torich Zeh, because from that, Yivar Ita Masocha B'Olam Hazeh Olam Habo, will become known the tremendous char there is for someone who's careful in this world and the next world. The Mishnah is from Avanza, but Goydel Ha'Einish Mishavel said, and the opposite is also true. V'achake, he says after. I wrote this kilaktis halachas hanal l'klol. I divided the halachas. I gathered them, right, from all these places. Then I divided them into what he calls klolim. The whole klal, the kama seifim, and then each klal is broken up into seifim. In order that whoever's learning this, it'll be easy. He'll be able to run through it, be clear, it'll be organized. And in fact, the Sefer Chofetz Chaim is a very learner-friendly Sefer. He wrote it very, very clearly. He says, and almost in all the Klolim, I gave examples. So someone who's learning could look at that, how to apply the Maisa. The general name of the Sefer is Chofetz Chaim Hashem HaKosov, based on the pasuk Misha Chofetz Chaim V'chu Neshel Yokta Kervik V'Yosei Kodinu Mekorer. In order, it shouldn't be difficult for the person learning it to go through every din and its sources. Machas Rev HaRicha Shnitzu B'Refam, because sometimes it's quite lengthy. So I divided the Sefer of Chofetz Chaim into two parts. Part one is the halacha, in short, straight halacha that comes out of learning the sugya. That's called Mikor HaChaim, and that's the top part of the sefer. Because this that a person has the ability to speak is from the Koyach HaNefesh, the Mikor HaChaim, that he has in him, as it says in the pasuk, "Vehi Adam LeNefesh Chaya." The Tirgem Onkelos, and Onkelos translates that the Ruach Memala to a speaking spirit, a speaking person. So that comes from the fact it's Nefesh Chaya, and therefore he calls the halacha, the straight halacha, calls Makar Chaim. Ubeir Sovivla, and then around it, in the Sefer here, it's below it, Yikar B'Shem Be'er Mayim Chaim. Kihu haber, because that's the source of the Lisi Mimenas Makar Chaim Hapnimi that I, so to speak, lifted out. I drew from that Be'er, which is the sources, the Makar Chaim, the halachas. He says, my brother, you should know. Even something that seems to be like a simple halacha, Heresius Makar B'Mer Chaim, I showed the source in Be'er Chaim, the Manivar, the Ein Hakol. So it should be clear to everybody, should say that I wrote the Sefer not based on Midas Chasidus, on like Musar, how to do beyond the letter of the law. Chofetz Chaim understood he was faced with a very difficult task. If he said at the beginning the halachas was so hefker, coming now to write these halachas, there's automatically like a pushback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's not real. That's just a frumkeit. That's a midas chasidus. So therefore, he was careful to footnote every halacha, he's saying, even the most simple halacha, so that you would see clearly we're talking about halacha and not midas chasidus, rak al tzad hadin. Okay, that's Sefer Hakdama Chofetz Chaim. Now let's go to the third part, as he called it. And here we have Va'af al Pikein, right? Hey Tishrei.
Right.
And he was describing last time the different parts of Shmiras haLashon. There's 3 sharim there. So he says, Va'af al Pikein, he says, and yet, Yeda Akar Hanoim. Sweet Lord, the reader, that even if this Sefer Shmiras haLashon finds favor in your eyes, the help of Hashem. Don't think it's enough to learn just Shmiras haLashon. This is because you also have to learn the halachas. The first two parts of the Sefer, for someone who desires Chaim, could easily be medrash Mishlei. And the Medrash says on this pasuk, where second pasuk in Mishlei, if a person has chachma, but if he doesn't have chachma, and ein yochel umoid musar. Das chachma umusar. V'kavanu kipshuta the pasuk. The intent is kipshuta dimu tov b'zeh v'ikar hadin. He says if a person makes a mistake in the halacha, it's not going to help to be a Yerush Shamayim and to learn Musar. If you don't know the halacha, you got it wrong, right? Because you're going to, because of Yerush Shamayim, you do wrong. Like let's say he's in his business, he's thinking about some she'ein b'kal gezel, and he understands it's not called stealing. What he's going to do, it won't help him in Yom Kanyane Musar. It won't help him if he learns all the musa about how serious it is to learn to do gezel. If he thinks this is not gezel, so no reason not to do it. And that's true in all parts of Torah. It's not enough to just learn the musa and be a Yerush Shamayim if you don't sit and learn the halacha also. I can't talk limit is dine haTorah kadesh yeda ha'asur v'muta. Therefore, you have to know the asur and muta. Mavachi kam b'zah mitzvah say des Hashem l'kechatira. Besides the fact that by knowing the halachas, you're fulfilling the mitzvah as Hashem l'kechatira. V'hachanami binyanenu. Same thing is true here. The mayor lo kol hamusa shaboilam. What help would it be if he knows all the musa? He went to Shmiras haLashon and said, all the Midrashim, all the Gemaras, all the Zohar, etc., is being quoted. You understand the severity of speaking Lashon Hara and the tremendous bracha of someone who's careful. It's not going to help. Being that he allows himself, by thinking that what he's doing now is not Lashon Hara, or Shalish Kazel, it's Satar Bisa Lashon Hara, or about such a person. The Torah didn't say you could, it's Lashon Hara, but you're allowed to speak about such a person. So all the Musa is not going to help you. Again, he says, therefore a person has to know, person has to know what is Lashon Hara. Then, in order to overcome the Yetzer Hara and fulfill what you learned, you're a Lomad, as a Musa, then you need to learn the Musa. Which is basically understanding tremendous punishment and tremendous reward there is by keeping this. So you need both aspects. Says also there's a benefit of knowing the halachas on the other side. That you shouldn't come and be severe. You shouldn't be machmer. This is the Chofetz Chaim who didn't speak Lashon Hara and he's writing. You shouldn't be machmer yourself and prohibit yourself from speaking where there's a mitzvah to say bad about the person. There are cases, as we'll learn, where it's a mitzvah l'ganaisa, and then it's a mitzvah. So that it knows about a person who's an apikoros, who's spreading wrong hashkafas and deis. It's a mitzvah to be megana that person, so the people who don't know will not learn from him. He looks like he's a firm yid. He looks like he's, obviously you have to be careful. It's a very gesher tzarmot to make sure that it's not just someone who you don't agree with, but his das is also das Torah. But if a person's really outside of the realm of das Torah, then it's a mitzvah l'ganaisa. Ein b'chafetz chaim kal ches sifhei b'chelik alf u'bermayim chaim sham. V'oy tell us and other benefits. Ein b'akdomas ha'sefer chafetz chaim that you're learning now, the benefits of knowing the halachas. that you won't be convinced by the Yitzhar of all kind of heterim and mitzvahs, etc. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I had a question though from the shir from 2 days ago. Do you have a
Okay.
minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so it brought down those scary Zohars, right?
Right.
And one of them was that but Ruvain speaks Lashon Hara as an example, right? And somehow that's going to bring a punishment to people in different places and in different countries,
Right.
etc. How does Ruvain? Don't we say that Ruvain should be the one who's punished? What does the guy in another country, Shimon, have to do with Ruvain? He doesn't hear it. He's not participating.
Right. But the fact is that the Lashon Hara that Reuven spoke empowered that Ruach Bisha that he called it, Ruach Bisha B'tuma, it empowers it to prosecute Klal Yisrael. My Lashon Hara, when I speak Lashon Hara, that gives koyach to the prosecutors to prosecute. Once they can prosecute, they prosecute about anybody.
Uh-huh. It sort of opens the door for the
Right. As long as Hashem says to the prosecutor, no, you can't talk. Klal Yisrael doesn't speak Lashon Hara. Can't say anything. But once he says Klal Yisrael does speak Lashon Hara, now it could be again, he says it somewhere clearly that all this stuff is about Lashon Hara, about people who speak it freely. They're not makbid on the halachas. Doesn't mean someone who slipped once. Someone who slipped once, he does tshuva, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I assume that what you're saying, that the more people are speaking Lashon Hara, the more power, right? There's more power to the prosecutor, to this koyach hara. If it's only one person, maybe it's limited. Maybe it is limited to some extent to what the prosecutor can do.
Snowball effect, because it
Yeah.
gathers speed with it. So,
Right.
okay.
All right. Thank you.